At best, we were twice as bad as the other people in our rate group. At worst, it was somewhere between 12 and 14 times as bad.
Having worked for this company for pretty much my entire adult life, I took that personally. I knew that we had excellent staff. I knew we had excellent skilled tradesmen.
This was an organization who really wanted to do well, and they really wanted to have an ethical ability to meet the needs of their employees through health and safety. And they were truly dedicated. They just wanted to be able to prove it.
There's the financial side of it, but most importantly, there was the moral side of the equation, making sure that our staff weren't getting hurt. We turned to our friends at USA and decided that we would participate in the Zero Plus program.
We knew we had to bring some kind of managed approach to health and safety the way we do with every other aspect of our job. We sent out a request for proposal and we got 3 main contenders. The deciding factor, at least from my perspective, was the opportunity to tailor a specific program specific to our need. They had the vision, they had the framework, but they didn't necessarily have the subject matter expertise related to our industry. In retrospect, was a huge plus. They didn't come into our business with any preconceived ideas. They had a framework, we populated that framework. So it was really a nice fit, a good marriage of process and ideas.
One of the things that really stood out for us was the opportunity to introduce some automation. It would address those dusty binders on the shelf. It would take care of the paperwork.
On an average organization, even Enwin size, 385 employees, they had over 800 documents.
They managed the process, we managed the people.
And we were able to turn over a migration path within a month.
RAM gives us the opportunity to centralize all of the information. It not only makes sure that it's current and up to date, but it's in one place and it's in a much more organized format.
RAM will also allow me not only to warehouse documents, it also affords me the opportunity to create tests. It also affords me the opportunity to warehouse any certifications as a result of our training. So in other words, the paperwork is essentially off my plate. Once we set the threshold, once we set the standard inside the system, it will absolutely manage itself. It's bulletproof. That allows me now to focus on the other side of the house, and that's the people.
At the ground floor, the employee is involved in deciding, this is what I feel is really risky in what I do. This is what I feel warrants more attention, more barriers, different tools, different means of doing things. So we got the employees involved right at the grassroots.
My name is Frank Clemens. I'm a truck driver at Enwin Utilities in the overhead department. Also the unit chair representing the IBW Local 636. If you all have your best working practices working and they can translate into this program, the guys will respect that. You listen to them on the floor, that do the work, that are hands-on day in and day out. You bring it over into the modern age of this RAM training where it's user-friendly. And the best thing about this is that if you spend the time to want the answer, they have to spend the time to get you back the results.
Then you have the idea that the training becomes individualized. With the RAM system, the individual's actually sitting down at a computer terminal, reading over a document and confirming that they've read it. Then as they're reading those work instructions and updating their training, they also get the opportunity to comment on what's going on. The risk assessment formula in RAM, the formalizing of the thinking, forces the people that may not be doing it as well to improve, but it allows the people that are doing a great job at it to say, hey, I'm already doing that. That's the other thing that RAM offers, the opportunity to not just review documents, but to include competency checks. You have an individualized record. So not only are you confirming that you read the document, there's a test that corresponds to that that says, okay, this individual's obviously picked up on the highlights of the training.
I sleep very well at night knowing that I can in fact prove the training has been provided. I can in fact prove that competency checks have been put in place, and at a moment's notice upon request through the audit trail process of Springboard, I can provide that level of documentation to anyone who might want to see it. And in the old days, In order to create a policy, it would involve scheduling a meeting, discuss the scope of the project, what is the ultimate goal, who within the organization is this going to affect, and it would probably take an hour's worth of time, and it would involve, at a bare minimum, the director of operations, the director of HR, frontline supervision, several middle managers. So let's say a dozen people in an office room discussing one policy or procedure, and that's an hour just to decide the framework. After that, there's a framework developed, there's lots more meetings, there's lots more discussion, and at the end of the day, maybe 2 months down the road, we have a finished product that we can push out live that everybody can support. Pushing a document from draft to live has gone from, let's say, 50 hours down to maybe 2 hours. So the payback on something like that is huge. What we're finding is the return on investment is something like 6 months. For the first time in a long time, Enwin Utilities is now in a rebate position with regard to WSIB. We went from a surcharge position to a rebate position in less than 18 months, which is almost unheard of in this industry.
The RAM system and the assistance of Springboard, in our organization's case, in Enwin's case, in terms of our safety management system, have allowed us to go from literally from being worst to first. And that's a huge thing from an organizational perspective, and it's a huge thing in terms of looking after our responsibility regarding our employees.